Tonight we have one soldier's story, a master sergeant, one of the Army's best, a soldier who wanted to be in Iraq. He came home psychologically wounded, in need of treatment. Instead, he was forgotten, with tragic consequences. For a long time, it was too painful for his parents to talk about. But they contacted Bob Woodruff after seeing his reporting on wounded veterans returning home. And Bob tonight has the story of their son.
There are many unanswered questions surrounding the life and death of Master Sergeant James Coons. On June 29, 2003, he arrived at Walter Reed Medical Center for treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder, met briefly with a psychologist, and then it seems he was forgotten.
He had 3 doctor's appointments scheduled. He didn't make any of those 3 appointments, and no one came to check on him.
James Curtis Coons of Conroe, Texas, was an Army man through and through. He signed up while still in high school and served with distinction for 16 years.
That was his life. He was consumed with the Army.
Days before the Iraq invasion, Coons, married and a father of 2 girls, seemed excited and ready to go.
I'm Master Sergeant Coons. I'm the NCOIC of the duel for all of these folks here. I'm the big dog, the grand poobah.
His unit made this video for school kids back home.
And little people out there, I want to deliver this message to you. Understand to take your vitamins, say your prayers, and mind your teachers.
Master Sergeant Coons rolled into Iraq with the 385th Signal Company. He was awarded a Bronze Star by the Army. But as Coons was exposed to some of the horrors of war, his demeanor began to change.
The story that we heard is he went in and paid respects to some soldiers in one of the morgues. And after that, there was an image of this soldier he just couldn't get out of his mind.
According to medical records, Coons sought help at a combat hospital in Kuwait for headaches, stress, and difficulty sleeping. He was given medication for depression and anxiety. In an email to his family, Coons alerted them that something was wrong. "This place has really put a beating on me," it read. "I found myself struggling to understand and deal with my own personal demons."
All of a sudden...
He was tired.
Yeah, you could just hear it in his voice. He was extremely tired.
On June 17th, Sergeant Coons took an overdose of sleeping pills. He was found on the floor of his trailer, barely conscious, and mumbling, "I keep seeing this guy." Coons was kept under close observation for the next 4 days in Kuwait, diagnosed with acute stress. But then he was evacuated without an attendant to the Army hospital in Landstuhl, Germany. There, a psychiatrist assessed his suicide risk as low. He was shipped out to Walter Reed a week later and immediately assigned to Building 17 of the Malone House, a hotel for outpatients.
And we kept calling to find out if he had landed. We could never get anyone to say, "Master Sergeant Coons is here." Here's where I talked to the hotel manager.
Over the next several days, Coons' mother and wife repeatedly called Walter Reed seeking information.
I spoke with the chaplain and asked her, could you please do something? Call, go over, knock on his door. And she told me, she said, "Well, I'll call you back."
They couldn't even go and knock on his door?
They wouldn't.
I talked to a night manager, and I was told that he'd really have to get in a golf cart and go over there. That I realized how far it was.
The family had been expecting their son home on the 4th of July.
And that's what we wanted. We wanted him here. We were going to help him get better.
He never arrived. His mother called Walter Reed once more.
That night, after everyone left, I called back to the Malone house. And that's whenever I found out he was gone. And I told Richard.
Nearly 5 days after Coons checked in at Walter Reed, a clerk at the hotel finally opened the door of room 179 to find Master Sergeant Coons hanging from a bedsheet. He had been dead for at least 2 days.
According to their security key passes, he entered his room and
never left.
Never left.
It wasn't until 10 days later, as the family was preparing for the funeral, that the military revealed to them how Coons had died.
I had to get the family together and in a room, the funeral home, and tell them. I couldn't let them go through the services of putting my son to rest and them not know or find out about it from someone else other than me.
Officials at Walter Reed refused to speak to ABC News about the Coons case. An Army investigation cleared medical personnel of negligence related to his death.
I think there's been an attempt on the part of the Army to sweep this under the rug.
Texas Congressman Michael McCall, a former federal prosecutor, calls the Army's conduct in the case unforgivable.
I think they knew they made a mistake. And so when they went in, I believe they had one goal in mind, and that was to cover themselves.
The Coons family has visited Walter Reed just once since their son took his life in room 179.
How was it emotionally for you to go into that room for the first time? The only time?
I don't know. I went in. I sat down. I said a prayer. I talked to him. And I left.
And Richard, you wouldn't go in?
No, sir.
Do you ever want to go there and see it?
No. No, sir.
Carol Coons finds what comfort she can in an email her son sent a month before the war began. It is how she would like him to be remembered. "This is my life. I am a soldier," he wrote. "There is not another place on the face of planet Earth that I would want to be right now. What I do now is not about me. It is about the American flag. Rest easy and tell everyone not to worry. I will find my way home again one day. I love you, Jimmy." Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Katy, Texas.
The Coons family has been petitioning the Army for 2 years to get their son's complete medical records and personal effects, including his journals. As of this afternoon, there has been no response.